Intuitive eating, principles, how to do it, what results. Controlling your weight without any food bans, simply by listening to your hunger and cravings, too good to be true? In any case, this is the promise of intuitive eating, a simple and common-sense method to reconcile with food and regain your healthy weight. Where does intuitive eating come from? Intuitive eating is not new, since it was born more than 20 years ago in the United States. Two American nutritionists, Evelyn Tribole and Elyse Resch, first talked about it in 1995 in the book Intuitive Eating, a Revolutionary Program That Works. Very soon after, it emerged in France through the anti-regime, whose pioneers were the psychiatrist Dr Gérald Apfeldorfer and the nutritionist Jean-Philippe Zermati, two founders of the GROS Reflection Group on Obesity and Overweight. Principles. Intuitive eating is based on the principle that our body knows precisely what it needs and that it is quite capable of informing us of it, if we know how to listen to it. Thus, when our body needs calories, it sends us the signal of hunger, and when it no longer needs them, it sends us the signal of satiety. Eating before hunger appears, or beyond satiation, therefore amounts to providing unnecessary calories to your body, which risks storing them in the form of fat. On the nutrient side, the principle is the same. Our body knows when it needs iron, magnesium or even protein, and it lets us know it by making foods that are rich in it attractive. For example, a need for iron and protein can therefore result in a craving for red meat or mussels, and a lack of magnesium in a craving for dark chocolate or almonds. How to adopt an intuitive diet. Eating intuitively may seem simple on paper, but it's not always easy to put in place. If we are all born with a very well-regulated biological clock, and a perfect food intuitiveness, we tend to detach ourselves from it during our life. Diets are widely implicated in the loss of food intuitiveness. According to the ANSES report, they would be in 80 to 95% of cases, followed by weight regain, and more serious still, they would lead insidiously to weight gain in the long term by scrambling the signals of hunger and satiety. A phenomenon of cognitive restriction then sets in. The person eats according to dietary principles learned or read somewhere, and no longer by listening to the signals that his body sends him. It is estimated that 70 to 80% of the population is in permanent cognitive restriction. To adopt an intuitive diet, you have to reconnect with your food sensations, through follow-up with a specialist trained in the subject. The patient learns to recognize the feelings of hunger and satiety, to listen to his desires and to taste his meals in full consciousness, all his senses awake. Some books also allow you to acquire the right reflexes and to set up the practice effectively. Instructions. For whom? Intuitive eating is particularly indicated for people suffering from eating disorders, in particular compulsions and hyperphagia, alternating with drastic restrictions. What results? Intuitive eating then makes it possible to be reconciled with food, and to understand that no food is bad or forbidden provided that it is eaten with hunger, desire and pleasure. Secondly, intuitive eating allows you to control your weight naturally, and return to your equilibrium weight. What precautions? Eating intuitively does not mean eating what you want when you want it. The risk, if we do not take care to really listen to our body and the signals it sends us, is to eat too much and therefore to lose weight. It is therefore ideal to be accompanied by a professional trained in the subject, who helps the patient to reconnect with his body and regain his food instinct. What contraindications? There are no contraindications to intuitive eating, but there are profiles more or less able to correctly apply the method and obtain results. For example, people who have not been accustomed to eating everything, and who reject an entire category of food, will find it difficult to feel the need for it, even when their body lacks it. So, someone who doesn't like any vegetables won't be able to apply intuitive eating properly. Other people can't get away from dieting and need to control their diet. They feel like they are in control of their lives.